Your best friend of 20 years asks you to be her bridesmaid, but then she starts to demand to change everything about yourself. How far do you go before say enough is enough?
Good lord.
I'm Alice King, your official Reddit baddie. Grab a snack, get comfortable, and enjoy the chaos. Bridezilla ruined our friendship of 20 plus years. Right, so best friend of many years got engaged, immediately asked me to be bridesmaid. Was thrilled for about 0.2 seconds until she said, "Ha, now I get to make your dress girly." Why does that sound like a threat? Her list of requirements included dress, heels, I had to grow my hair to at least bob length. I had to dye my hair, I had to get tan, fake or sunbed, and I definitely had to use body makeup to cover all my tattoos.
Oh.
At this point, just ask someone else to be a bridesmaid. Why would you even want that much extra headache? Ask someone else, or hell, hire an actor who could look the way exactly how you wanted. Now readers, this was a gut-wrencher. Anyone who knows me know I am an absolute tomboy who feels deeply uncomfortable wearing dresses, etc.
I was like a huge tomboy, like couldn't really care less about fashion.
But hey, it's the bride's big day, right? I offered to do all except grow my hair. Girl, I really wish this would be only for a day, but this type of brides want the spotlight on them as long as possible, preferably at least for the whole year. Not good enough.
That's not good enough.
Apparently, I would ruin her photos with my crap short hair. She is the main character. You don't even have permission to breathe without her allowing it. And this is exactly why they called Bridezillas. Arguments started, texts and group chats apparently telling me I was being stubborn and it's for one day and I should suck it up.
Shut up.
So how exactly can I grow out my hair in one day? Please, someone let me know. I would love to get that magical elixir. Back and forth for a while, but around that time, my dad was diagnosed with a terminal illness. We mutually agreed my dad was my priority and I stepped down from bridesmaid to guest. And that would be completely understandable. But of course, the story doesn't end here. She asked me what me and my girlfriend would be wearing, and I replied that we had tailor-made suits from a wedding last year and they would be perfect. Let me guess, she threw a fit. Not just because you guys planned to wear a suit, but because you wore it before. She told me she didn't want everyone staring at the two lesbians in suits and that everyone would be talking about us and taking attention away from her. I don't even understand why she even invited you. She sounds like a homophobic monster who doesn't even like you. People, I was gobsmacked. Girlfriend refused to even go.
Oh, well. Duh, right?
I told Bride unless she was telling all the guests what to wear, she could freak right off. I went to the wedding, didn't want to be the a-hole who didn't show up, to be honest. It went swimmingly.
You sure about that?
An absolutely grand affair with no expense spared. I left after the first dance to get home to my kid, had been there for 8 hours at this point, and was told the next day that at the end of the party the bride was sobbing that I left early and ruined her day. Oh my god, didn't she just marry the love of her life? Also, how long was this wedding? How long you should stay so she would be satisfied? She also texted me to tell me the money I had gifted her was nowhere near the cost of hosting me.
What? Who does that?
So we don't talk anymore. Maybe her wedding was a grand event, but she is tacky as hell. Update, I'm getting married. My fiancé proposed last week. Congratulations, bestie. We are both gonna wear suits and Bridezilla ain't invited. I wish this would be true, but OP wrote another update which is way longer. So I guess this case wasn't just closed here. I've been in no contact with Bride basically since her wedding. A lot of mutual friends have stopped contact with me because of what Bride has been saying. That is a good thing actually. Now you can see who are your real friends. Bride has a habit of changing the narrative of any story to make herself look like the good guy. Example for her wedding, I was the a-hole for not agreeing to all bridesmaid rules, her dress code for me as a guest, not helping with planning more because I was choosing to spend all my time with my girlfriend. It wasn't your job to help anymore, you left the wedding party. She conveniently leaves out the fact my dad was terminally ill, then died during the this time, leaving me with no parents and an autistic son who lost his bestest body in the world. Guess what was my priority? I guess I just don't understand why you decided to go to this wedding. I'm not surprised she couldn't let it go and was happy that you showed up. According to the context you gave, she just not that type of person. So I've been bummed out from friends' engagements, ham parties, baby showers, etc. for the past year. Heard that they choose to believe whatever she says, but again, lesson learned for me. That's not a bad thing at all. Now you can clearly see who are your real friends. So here's the update. Last weekend my girlfriend proposed.
Yes!
Oh god, we were so thrilled, immediately phoned fam and close friends and then officially changed our Facebook relationship status to engaged. So what has Bri from previous post got to do with this? She texted mutual friends and claimed I had obviously blocked her from seeing our engagement post, but she was so hurt that I would go out my way to do that to her.
You need therapy!
Who cares? You guys are not friends anymore. By the way, how old is she? Because she's acting like a 12-year-old. I took a screenshot of her like on our engagement post and sent it to all our mutual friends in a group chat and said, oh no, she's telling you lies again. It's almost like someone else being the center of attention annoys her, isn't it?
This is actually correct.
She admitted that in your previous post, you guys weren't allowed to wear suits because you would steal the attention off of her. People often tell you who they really are. You just need to listen and believe them. I left it at that because I ain't wasting more headspace that I already have on someone who squeezes the joy out of my life. Bride will not be invited to any wedding related things. We are going to Vegas with our families and having an absolute blast. P.S. We are gonna wear suits. Perfect. So you're gonna have your own wedding and you got rid of a toxic friend. I wish you and your girlfriend to have the wedding day you guys imagined. My best friend from childhood invited me to her wedding but forgot to assign me a seat. I spent the night alone in a separate room.
Bombastic side eye.
When you think you already heard everything that can happen on a wedding, you just find another story that freaks you out even more. My childhood best friend, 23 female, got married this weekend and I was so excited to be there to support her on her big day. I'm kinda scared to figure out how you ended up in a separate room. I'm a chocolatier, so the bride asked me if I could create the wedding favors and dessert table. I was ecstatic to help with the wedding and went above and beyond to create a gorgeous table that was a huge hit on the day. I was told early on that the wedding was over budget and to keep costs low, my boyfriend was not invited. Interesting, was that the only solution to cut costs? I was extremely understanding and even reduced my rates for the suite table as my present to the couple. A couple weeks later, after reviewing the guest list, the bride informed me that my boyfriend could come as my +1, but if he did, I would be moved from the head table.
It's a trap! Abort!
My boyfriend is a wedding photographer and is looking to build his videography portfolio. Knowing that the couple didn't have a videographer, he offered to film a professional wedding video free of charge. So basically, the couple hit the jackpot with you two. The bride was ecstatic and offered to move us to the vendor table so that we could network with the other vendors. We loved the idea and it was confirmed that we would be sitting with the vendors. The day of the wedding, we arrived 4 hours early to help with the event. My boyfriend spent the time filming while I set up the dessert table and helped the event coordinator set the dinner tables. After the ceremony, guests were moved to the cocktail room while the original room was converted into the room for the reception. While helping convert the room, I noticed that our names were not at the seating chart. Why am I not surprised about that? It's giving intentional. It's giving that this girl is not your friend, just using you. I asked the event coordinator where we would be sitting and she said, good question, and left to find out. She came back to say that there was no vendor table and that if we were staying for dinner, my boyfriend and I would have to be sit in a separate room as we were not on the list. So basically, this bride used you and your boyfriend as much as possible, and then you guys didn't even earn a table at her wedding. She is not just inconsiderate, she is evil. The room was closed off from the reception, so we couldn't hear or see anything, let alone talk to anybody. I told the event coordinator that we were in fact guests and that we should be moved into the reception room. The event coordinator herself was seated at one of the tables in the room. I told her I was a longtime friend of the bride and even originally meant to be seated at the head table. However, the event coordinator said she couldn't do anything about it.
Just do your jobs. Just do your jobs.
What is that supposed to mean? This is her actual job? I approached the bride to explain the situation. She mentioned that it was definitely a mix-up and that we should be in the room. Was it though? I don't believe her. The bride mentioned that she didn't want to undermine me as a businesswoman, so she never told the event coordinators that we were friends or that I was a guest. She left the coordination of the vendor table to the event coordinator and left it off of the seating chart. The event coordinator was not made aware that any of the vendors besides herself and the MC were staying for the reception and therefore didn't think to add us in. And this is exactly the reason why she's there. Fix it now. Although I understand the mix-up, the bride did nothing to get us moved to the main room. My boyfriend and I were cut off from the reception with no one to speak to, no way to see or hear, and even had to ask to be fed. As a result, I missed the entire wedding and spent the majority of the evening crying in the bathroom, waiting to move the dessert table into the main room after dinner so that we could leave. You guys are too kind. I would have left after the second they decided not to fix the situation. My boyfriend continued to film everything as he was committed to getting a beautiful video for his portfolio. I hope at least he kept it to himself. The next morning, I emailed the bride about the experience. She apologized profusely and said she was scatterbrained on the day and didn't think to do anything about it. She feels extremely guilty and would still like to be friends. I would like to forgive her, but I'm still extremely hurt. Come on. She doesn't care. She just wants to receive the wedding video from your boyfriend.
Exactly.
I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but we're gonna figure it out because we have an update. After reading everyone's responses and doing some reflecting, I've come to the conclusion that she's not my friend. Our relationship in the past few months was mostly consisted of her blowing me off and me interpreting it as though she was busy. Real friends never blow you off. They find the time and they are there for you. She moved across the country 2 years ago, but flies here often. Most of the couple's friends and family still live here, which is why they decided to have their wedding here. Every time she's come to visit, we try to make plans, which end up with me being blown off. The excuse was always that some last minute thing came up, which is why she didn't have time to see me.
That's suspicious.
She called me months before her engagement party to let me know that I would be invited to it, but I was never actually invited. I responded to pictures of it online, just saying gorgeous, and she explained that I wasn't invited because her mother-in-law planned it and didn't know her friends.
That's weird.
Yeah, sure. It was the mother-in-law's fault. It was the wedding coordinator's fault. There is always someone to blame but her. Moral of the story, the only time I've seen her within the past year was to do free testing for her wedding after she mentioned that she would be not finalize her order without a testing. We had plans to meet up the same week of the testing, which she blew. I reread her apologetic email and interpreted it differently the second time. The email mainly followed the structure of excuse, but that's not an excuse. In one section she wrote that although she would still like to be friends, she understands that I may not want to, and that's fine.
Brother,
To me, it seems as though she was saying she wouldn't care if we were to no longer be friends. She's saying she doesn't care if you guys are friends or not anymore, but if you're staying in this friendship, she's gonna treat you like crap, which she already did on her wedding. The only reason you guys were there because she needed free stuff. At the same time, you guys weren't even there. You were banished to another room. At the end of the email, she added, "P.S. we would still like the video."
How convenient is that? Wow.
Of course she wants the video. That's the only reason she's still talking to you. Despite making it a point prior to the wedding to let my boyfriend and I know that she couldn't care less about the wedding video. Yeah, right. This girl have zero respect towards you. Although she mentioned in her email that she would make it up to me, I haven't heard a word from her since I responded back to her email naively accepting the apology the day after the wedding. You can accept her apology and then go no contact with her. She's not your friend. You don't don't need her in your life. I watched my boyfriend's rough edit of the wedding video this week and listened to her speech. She added a section where she thanked her friends for transcending the lines of friends and family. She called out a long list of names from the friend group. Mine wasn't included, which sealed the deal for me.
What's that, brother?
There you have it. You have the answer how much you mean to her. Not even enough to earn a seat at her wedding. That speech felt very intentional, like it was a message to you. She knew you're gonna see it even though you are not there because your boyfriend was filming the whole thing. Especially since I was so involved in the preparation of the wedding that she wouldn't have just forgotten my name. Moving forward, I will be a lot more cautious with my circle and I'd definitely be more strict with doing business with friends. No more paying out of pocket. That means you learned your lesson. You gained more than you lost. My boyfriend has agreed to not go out of his way to send her the video. If she asks for it, he will send a link to a shortened version on his website. I couldn't convince him to add a watermark, although that was my favorite solution. Why not though? Giving her a link to his website is one thing. I really hate the fact that not even your boyfriend stood up for you in this situation, even though he was there and witnessed the whole thing. Thanks everyone for your recommendations. So we'll see if she comes around in a month or so. I will definitely not be reaching out. You should really let this relationship go. This girl doesn't care about you whatsoever. Even if she reaches out, she doesn't deserve your friendship. The only thing you can expect from her in the future is more humiliation. I wouldn't stick around to witness it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's stories. If you did, don't forget to subscribe, leave your thoughts in the comments. I reply them all. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.